Hey everybody, this is Robert, and in today's video I would like to show you some different cards that come in the game Cartoona, and maybe talk about some of the card strategy that you might employ during a game. The cards are used in only the full game of Cartoona. There's also some variants that do not use the cards for smaller children. But when you're playing a full game with the cards, it can become a very, revenge-orientated, stab your neighbor in the back kind of game that requires some defensive thinking as well as some, aggressiveness to make the most of the cards. So, a couple cards I want to show you. First, you've got some cards in the game that just basically add or subtract points based on where you play them. So in this case, this card says -3 points, play on any tile with blue feet. So if you played this card, if your opponent played this card on these blue feet, you would get -3 points whenever you score for this creature. If somebody steals this tile, the card is discarded. If somebody swaps this tile, the card goes with the tile. So if somebody's thinking really needs blue feet maybe to finish an all-blue creature, and they want to steal this tile, that card is going to go with it, and it's going to add -3 points on their finished creature. This one here is +4 points to complete a creature with a flagtail, an udder, or a collar. This creature here has an udder, so I could play this card on that tile there and get 4 points added when I complete the creature. So if I had multiple cards, if I finish this creature here, for example, I would add the 4 for the udders, but I would have to subtract the 3 for this negative card, so I would end up with a +1 in addition to the face value of the tiles. If I was going to play this +4 point card on the udders, and let's, for example, say this was -3 point on a tile with udders as well, I could play it on that tile. You can play multiple cards on a single tile. Here's one of the cards in Cartoona that a lot of people seem to like. It's called Trade. Trade all the tiles in your hand for all the tiles in another player's hand. So if you're low on tiles, for example, or maybe the tiles in your hand are not helping you accomplish what you need to accomplish at all, you can use this card to trade all the tiles you have with one of your opponents. That can help your opponent as well, or it could hurt them. You don't really know. So this is a card that you're taking a risk with, but if you really need a certain tile and you're having a hard time getting it, or you're stuck in your hand and you're not drawing what you need, this is a card that can really change the game pretty quickly. Steal. Steal any tile in play and place it on the tile discard pile. So this is basically your opponent can basically steal one of your tiles. If you have the card, you can steal one of your opponent's tiles. Like if this was an opponent's creature, I could steal and just get rid of them. Right? Now if I choose to steal a piece in between, like I could steal this body part in the middle, if I steal it, it's going to leave a space there. And that's acceptable. That's the only way in Cartoona you could really get an empty space in between two tiles, is if somebody played a steal card, and then your opponent would need to place a tile to replace this exactly. So they would need another front body part that matches the legs and matches the neck and matches the back body. So for example, they would not be able to replace that missing area with this. That would not be a legal move, even though it creates a creature here. They've got to replace a stolen tile with a piece that's going to fit exactly. So it needs to match all the tiles that are surrounding that. The change color. This is an important card. It allows you to change the color of any tile in play, and you can choose whatever color you wish. So I could play this, for example, on this magenta body and say I'm changing that to blue. You'll find cards like this in Cartoona as well. This is a double play. There's also a triple play card. The double play allows you to play an additional tile from your hand. The triple play allows you to play an additional 2 tiles from your hand. So if I play a tile here and then I play my double play card, I can play another tile. So I could put a tail down or I could put the back feet down. If I had a triple play card and I put the nose on for my move and then played my triple play card and I had back feet and a tail, I could finish that creature and score the points in one turn. I'm able to place 3 tiles if I have that card. So that's a great card too. If you have one of those cards, it's worth saving your tiles until you're ready to finish it, because once you put your tiles down and play them, you're fair game. Those tiles are fair game for your opponent. Now there are some important cards that allow you to block negative moves, and they're just called block cards. And these are instant. Any card that you can play outside of your turn is an instant card or a special card, and it's labeled in this magenta color here. So you can play these at any time. So if an opponent, for example, stole one of your tiles to complete maybe one of their creatures, you could play this block card, and when you play it, they're not able to use that action with their cards. Alright, I'd like to talk about a swap card now. Here's a couple of them. This one says swap any tile that you or your team has in play with another tile in play. Must be the same body part. That's important. And this one says swap any tile in your hand with another tile in play. Must be the same body part. So a little bit different. One allows you to swap a tile that's already down, that you've already placed down, with your opponent's tile that's in play. And this one allows you to play a tile from your hand and swap it with a tile that you might want that your opponent has already played. So let's say in this case I want to play this swap card. And let's say, for example, this is what I have played so far. I'm building my creature. And maybe my opponent has played this piece, which is a valuable purple piece worth 5 points. And that's all they've played, and all they need to do is finish ahead here to score the points. I may play this swap card, and I will be able to swap out this magenta tile that's only worth 1 point and give it to the opponent, and in place steal their or swap their body and attach it to my creature, and now that creature is complete and I can score the points. So that's another way. You don't just score points by finishing creatures by drawing tiles. You need to be looking at how you can take from your opponent, steal from your opponent, swap with your opponent to complete your creature. If this creature had legs and my opponent had played this and I played the swap card, I could not then swap this body for this, because this has to be able to replace exactly. So if I put it here, I've got these legs still that are disconnected. So when the player plays, when you play these front legs, you eliminate the possibility of swapping out this front body piece. So it would be the same thing if there was a back body on here and I tried to swap. I could not swap for this piece now because I've already played the back body, and so it doesn't match here. So I cannot swap for this piece. Okay, so let's take an example where maybe I've been able to get this far with a creature. I'm only 1 tile away from completing an all blue creature and scoring a ton of points. First thing you need to know is this creature is going to be a target, right? Absolutely. So it'd be great to have some block cards in your hand or some karma cards in your hand to protect this creature from being messed up on you, and maybe having a tile stolen or having somebody change the color so you don't get the double points, those kinds of things. So we do have a card in the game called Lock, and if you play this on a creature, that creature is now locked and nobody can play any negative action cards on it. But there's also one unlock card. So if one of your opponents happens to have this, they can unlock it, and these cards are removed, and then you're wide open again. So there's lock and unlock cards. But there's also other ways that you can finish this creature. Like, let's say this was my hand that I had. I have a tail, a magenta tail. I have some front feet, yellow feet. I have a magenta head. I have some back yellow feet, and I have some front blue feet. Now I could play these yellow feet and finish it, but if I had a card like this, the finish card, use this card to place on in place of any missing tile to finish a creature. It can be any color you choose. So if with this card, I could just claim these as blue feet and finish my creature and still get double the points. So the finish card is a very valuable one to have. Another thing I could do is if I had a change color card, I could play these black feet and then play the change color card and get my all blue. There's a card called Feets Don't Fail Me Now. This card allows you to play one set of back feet in a front feet position or vice versa. So if I had these blue feet that were front feet, I could play them in the incorrect position here. You see how the edges don't line up, and play this card and it counts, and now I get double the points because they're blue. So the cards really make for a lot of interesting strategy to really think about what cards and what tiles you want to hold in your hand, what your strategy is going to be. And you also need to make sure that you have a defensive set of cards ready to protect yourself and to protect the strategy that you've laid out, right? Because the other players are going to be trying to do the same thing. Then there's a lot of other cards in the game as well. You know, here's Reap. It lets every opposing player must give you one tile and one card of their choice. There's Remove, lets you remove any card that's been played on a creature. The Discard Pile, pick 2 free tiles from the discard pile at random. There's Free Draw cards, allows you to draw maybe 1 tile or 2 tiles or more. And then there's a whole bunch of other cards as well in addition to those that make the game pretty exciting and fun and interactive. There was also a lot of cards that we did not, you know, these are some of the original prototype cards that we went through. We went through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these. Some of them made it into the game and some of them did not. So we had all kinds of cards in the game. We had cards that would let you, you know, destroy a creature that was almost complete, destroy all the tiles and put them into the discard pile. Though that was way too powerful. We had other cards that were too powerful that we had to take out. We had cards that were just kind of weren't exciting enough and didn't really add anything to the gameplay that we took out. We had cards like Deny. If placed on a tile in play, any creature created with this tile does not earn the double multiplier bonus. This was just confusing for some players, so we took that out. Then we had, you know, these +1 point to complete a 3, 4, 6 tile creature. You know, first of all, 1 point, it didn't add enough. We had to up the amount of points you could get, and completing a 3, 4, or 6 tile creature was also confusing, or complete a 7 tile creature was confusing for some folks. And we found these cards to be just too limiting. You know, if you know, do you really want to limit yourself to creating a 7 tile creature to get 2 points? You know, then we thought, well, maybe we could raise that to, you know, 5 points or 7 points. But it just wasn't, it just didn't work as well as we thought. So we think we have a really good balance of cards. Right now, I think the amount of cards that we have in the game and the balance of the cards that we have in the game really help Cartoona be a really fun game to play.